What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to our channel. So today we are completing a very important project, the last step that we need to get our turkeys outside, and that is their very own turkey roost. So this turkey roost is perfect if you have a small scale homestead and you want to roost between 6 and 16 turkeys, somewhere in there. We have 8 that we're going to be moving up to our pasture. So if you're looking for a mobile solution for your turkeys, this is going to be perfect for you. In our case, we're going to bring this up to the pasture. We're going to put it inside a Premier One fence. It's all solar powered. Everything that we do is mobile, and we got a lot of work to do today. So let's roll the intro and get right into the build. Alright guys, so here we are in the basement and we're going to start building our turkey roost. Now, turkeys don't need an extensive piece of infrastructure at all. They're not like chickens where they need a coop and laying boxes and all that fun stuff. They don't have to be completely enclosed. All turkeys need are really just a couple of things. They need shelter from the rain, they need food and water, and when they're little, they're going to need some sort of protection. In our case, that's going to be Premier One solar netting. So we'll set that up in a second video, and if you want to see that video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You won't want to miss that. Today we're in the basement. We're just going to build the turkey roost. I'm going to show you how it goes together. I've got our plans right here all printed out for myself. We have all of our materials ready to go behind me with all the hardware. So let's get started by cutting the bottom rails to 90 inches as per the plans. Then we'll do the side bottom frame rails. We'll do the uprights on all 4 corners, get the top framed in, and then I'll talk a little bit about the roost. Alright guys, so we're here at the miter saw, and I like to begin all my cuts on dimensional lumber by just zipping off one end of this board, getting myself a nice square end on this board, and also getting rid of any tagging or markings that may be on the end of this board. So we're going to go ahead, flush up this end, spin it around, measure out our 90, make our cut. Alright, so we have our bottom side rails cut. Let's cut our bottom end rails at 45 inches a piece. So I got one 2x4 here. We'll square up the end just like we did before and make our cuts. Alright, so we have all the bottom pieces for our frame rail all cut. Now I'm going to be putting these together with 2.5 inch plastic coated screws. One thing I like to do before I put these in is just go ahead and pre-drill. So we're going to put 3 screws in each corner, pre-drill first and install these screws. Then we'll get our uprights cut. Alright, so we have the bottom frame all made. Now I have 2 2x stacked on my miter saw right now. I'm going to trim both ends, get them nice and flush and clean. The tall corner on this turkey roost is going to be 54 inches. The short corner is going to be 42. So although I'm making a couple trims and then a curve cut down the middle, I'm going to lose some of that length, but that's okay. We'll work around it. So let's get these boards cut and get them screwed onto the bottom frame. Alright, so for our upright boards, we're going to be taking the broad side of the upright and place it up against the long bottom frame rail. So we're just going to simply nest it in here and then put a couple screws in to hold it in place. One thing about this step that you want to keep in mind is that we are going to be running a 5/8 carriage bolt through both of these boards a little bit later on. So whatever screws you put in, whether it's through here into the board or through the face of your bottom frame, you want to stay out of this general area so you're not drilling through those screws later on when you try and put your carriage bolt in. All right guys, I think our turkey roost is coming out really good, and I was going to put the upper frame on next, but I'm going to change that up a little bit and do the wheels next. And I think I'm going to do that because I just don't want to hit my head trying to put the wheels on with the upper frame and all the roost in the way, because I was going to do that last, but I think putting them on next makes the more sense before everything is in the way. So we need to go ahead and drill 5/8 holes in all 4 corners of this frame where the wheels are going to be located. I will show you exactly what we're using for wheels and why I picked out these wheels, as well as the hardware and how to install it so that the wheels don't loosen up on you over time. All right, so now that we have that in place, we're gonna go ahead, get our bag of hardware, or box of hardware, grab a washer, slip that on through. Go ahead and get yourself a hex nut. Go ahead and really snug this hex nut right up and pull that carriage bolt right into the wood. Now we've got our wheel, and one of these sides of the wheel does have a hub that extends just a little bit longer than the other. So we're going to take the long end and put it facing towards our frame. Go ahead and throw yourself another washer right on, and get 2 more hex nuts. Okay, so the trick with this is this inside nut right here. You're not going to want that too tight. If you tighten that too much, your wheel is going to not turn. You're going to lock the bearing. So you want to get it tight, back it off maybe a half a turn or 3/4 of a turn. Not too much play in the wheel, but still spins freely. Go ahead and hold that nut in place. Bring this nut in to act like a jam nut and tighten it right on up. Just like that. And you should have a nice freely spinning wheel. Not very much play, and that's not going to go anywhere. The next cuts we need to make are 2 of them at 88 and we'll call that 3/8 each. They do have an 8-degree bevel on each end. Then we're also going to need 2 pieces at 48 inches apiece for the ends of the upper frame. So let's go ahead and cut those. Alright, so the next step is going to be putting the long rail of the top frame on, and these quick connect clamps come in real handy, kind of like a third hand if you will. So what we're going to want is this rail on the outside and flush with the end of this upright. So let's go ahead and put on our quick connect clamp right here, hold that in place, get this guy temporarily secured right here. Alright, so before we get any further, we're going to go ahead and pre-drill this outside board. So we'll probably put a screw here, here, and here. Alright, so we have our board pre-drilled. The only 2 surfaces we need to align here are these 2 surfaces right here, and then the edge of the top frame with the top of the upright. So as long as this is flush and this is flush, we're good to go. Go ahead and throw our quick clamp on there. For the other end, we're going to repeat the same process. So we're going to pre-drill some holes. Go ahead and align our surfaces outside, top edge, top of the upright right here. Now just repeat for the other side. All right, so we're going to go ahead and install these cross pieces right here for the upper frame support. We're going to throw 4 screws in both of these somewhere around here, so we get 2 screws in each board. Alright, so this is the upper frame. It is all completed except for a couple supports up here for the poly roofing. We're gonna put those in now. There are 2 of those at 45 inches a piece, and we're gonna use these 2x3s right here. So these don't have to be in position perfectly. I just divide this by 3, take that measurement, mark it out, put 2 screws in on each end and call it good. So let's go ahead, cut those, get those in, and then we can start working on the roost, which will also be made by these 2x3s right over here. All right, so we have all of our frame supports in. Our upper frame is complete. The next thing we have to work on is cutting 4 boards, 48 inches long. They have 45s on each end. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those. We'll get those zipped right in, and then we can start putting on our roosts, then the roofing panels, and we're complete. All right guys, so we got all 4 of our roost supports in. Everything's looking really nice. Now per our plan, we need roosts at 17, 28.5, and 40 inches off the very tip of this board right here. So included in the plans, what I'm going to do is go ahead and take our square right at our mark and then draw myself a line right here, and that's where the edge of the roost is going to go. I'm going to do that on all 4 of our roost supports. Go ahead and pre-drill 2 holes on each roost for my screws, get those all fastened in, and then we can work on the roof. Alright guys, so we have all of our roofs set up. Really one thing left to do is put on the roof. Once we get the roof on, finally get this outside, set up our netting, and get our turkeys out of the house. They're getting really big. And these are the girls right here that are getting the roost. So they're about 5 weeks old right now. They're starting to smell, they're getting very big. They're about the size of a full-grown chicken at this point. So they're eating a lot, pooping a lot, they're very loud. They need to go outside, get some fresh grass and some fresh air. Alright guys, so with the frame complete and the roof on, we are done with this roost, and it feels really good to get one more thing checked off on my list. I'm super far behind right now on all my farm related activities, so with this complete, the girls can finally go outside, but I do need to set up the Premier 1 fencing first, so we're going to save all that for another video. But if a small scale mobile turkey operation does interest you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss when we take the turkeys outside and I show you everything that we got going on in the pasture. But if you like the design and you like the video, please hit the like button or drop a comment down below. It does help us out a lot. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.